Okay. And this?
That's my little shed down by my pond, and those are benches that are rounded pieces of wood sliced from the lumber mill down the street that that they offered up to me. I admired
nice.
them because they were abstract and in shape, and we created some benches.
How beautiful. Now, Karen, you mentioned just a second ago about doing a lot of your work outside. Why?
When I'm cutting, plasma cutting, which is one of my most favorite tools, and the tool that is really an extension of my arm that I can draw right into the metal with and create all the cutting, that's just like drawing.
Oh.
That creates a lot of dust, and so I usually cut outside.
That's a good idea. Okay, I understand. What
For
about
health reasons.
Well, what about cold weather? I mean, is your metal work limited to?
Sorry to interrupt. I was out there yesterday cutting. Of course, we did have 60-degree weather yesterday.
That was very nice.
But it's the kind of process that makes your adrenaline flow because it happens very quickly. So if you dress in layers and, you know, you're prepared and you start cutting, it goes by.
Yeah. Okay, now you, in terms of the work that you do, one of the things I noticed there in the picture, quite a variety. I mean, you incorporate a lot of different themes in your work, and I know we have a beautiful hanging sculpture here right behind us of these lovely little Dalmatians that are just adorable. Tell me about some of the themes that you use in your work, and where do you find these themes?
Well, I've been coined as a storyteller in metal. And so I do feel that I tell stories with visual icons. And when I'm searching for some of those icons, I often mentally will go through the columns of a newspaper.
Oh, that's clever.
Sports, animals, you know, pet talk, current events, you know, just deciding what kind of story I'd like to tell.
And I noticed, because I did a little surfing around on the website, yes, you have all sorts of holiday themes and religious themes, lifetime ceremonial themes, just a wonderful variety.
I do. From my very early days of showing my originals in the trade shows in New York and elsewhere and beyond, I was commissioned to create a very large menorah for someone, and in fact I wasn't sure how I was going to make all the 8 candles coming up plus the shamus, so I went to the hardware store on my father's suggestion and hooked up a bunch of copper tubing, and the big menorah turned out to be 6 or 7 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And it did make quite a scene in my booth, and it attracted whole crowds of people around my booth. And that was, you know, the start of all the Judaica that I still create today. And Neiman Marcus, the buyer for Neiman Marcus, was there and wondered what the crowd was, and then ended up ordering the originals from me for 3-4 years till I began licensing. But that was exciting, and
oh, how wonderful.
They have 30 stores, so that kept me quite busy.
And of course, then you never know. You just never know what one thing leads to another. A friend of mine said to me many, many years ago, destiny is a wide road. And I have thought about that many, many, many times. Speaking of wide roads, and speaking of the themes that you have in your work, I know that you've also branched into some housewares, if that's the right word, and you have something called a bistro collection. We have a little piece you could share. Oh, this is so pretty. Tell us about this.
This is a picture, one of many, many pieces in my bistro line. Plates and quiche dishes and lasagna dishes, coffee mugs. And this company, the company that created these, Primitive Artisan, was the first company ever to license my designs.
Oh.
And by the way, if someone makes a trip to Norfolk to one of my open houses, these pictures are featured on special.
Wonderful. So it's worth the trip.
Yes.
Now, open house once a month?
The second Saturday of every month.
Second Saturday of every month. And I think we can I'll let you know, go to Karen's website. You'll see it on the screen here many, many times. Lots and lots of details about the open house. I think you have directions on there, lots of
Yes.
information.
Yes.
Okay. So definitely worth the trip to Norfolk to pick up a bargain. Now, Karen, one of the things I wanted to talk with you a lot about, because to me, it's one of the hallmarks of you as an artist. I mean, obviously,